and future AI overlords. Today, I want to talk to Bard about happiness. Happiness is something I think most people strive for in their life, in their job, in their relationships. And so I thought I would explore how happiness works from an AI perspective. See if it can teach me anything about happiness. I'm really curious myself. And so if you're curious too, let's see what we can ask Bard about happiness. So I'm going to start with a basic question. What is happiness?
Happiness is a complex emotion that is often described as a feeling of joy, satisfaction, contentment, and fulfillment. It is a state of well-being that is characterized by positive emotions and a sense of purpose in life. There is no one definition of happiness that is universally agreed upon. However, some common elements of happiness include positive emotions. Happiness is often associated with positive emotions such as joy, love, gratitude, and contentment. Life satisfaction. Happiness is also related to how satisfied a person is with their life overall. This includes their relationships, work, health, and financial situation. Meaning and purpose. Happiness can also be found in having a sense of meaning and purpose in life. This means feeling like your life has value and that you are making a difference in the world. Happiness is not something that happens to us. It is something that we create for ourselves. There are many things that we can do to increase our happiness, such as practicing gratitude. Taking the time to appreciate the good things in our lives can help us to feel happier. Helping others. Helping others is a great way to feel good about ourselves and make a difference in the world. Spending time with loved ones. Strong relationships are essential for happiness. Make time for the people who matter most to you. Taking care of ourselves. Eating healthy, exercising, and getting enough sleep are all important for our physical and mental health, which can contribute to happiness. Pursuing our passions. Doing things that we love makes us happy. Find activities that you are passionate about and make time for them in your life. Happiness is a journey, not a destination. It is something that we work at every day. By following these tips, we can increase our happiness and live a more fulfilling life.
That is a pretty amazing, answer to that question, because that question is a huge question. And I do really enjoy how Bard does a really good job of providing great responses that feel personal, meaningful, intelligent, and very well thought out. I like the part where it says, happiness is not something that happens to us. It is something we create for ourselves. And I feel like that is a huge point. At least it's a bit of a revelation to me, because I've never thought about happiness as my choice. But I guess it is. I mean, it really is. I mean, you choose. I mean, like, things happen to you and you have emotional reactions. But, you have the ability to redirect your focus. As difficult as that can be at times. But anyway, and I think the ideas around how to increase your happiness, practicing gratitude, the whole do good, feel good thing, I totally agree with that. Helping others, I'm lucky in my job. That's mostly what I do is, help others learn and use technology. So I feel that this is definitely a huge thing, and feeling that you're making a difference in people's lives, that's huge. Spending time with loved ones, strong relationships, absolutely. And I like how it says strong relations are essential for happiness. And I feel like strong relationships that are good relationships, good family relationships, good friendship relationships, not strong relationships with people that suck, to be honest. So, so make sure that, in this time of, of challenge that we're in this time of change, in this time of, increased use of technology, which it just seems to get more and more as we stare at our phones and screens and computers and things like that. And yeah, I know you're listening and staring at a screen right now, but I'm hoping that you're making time for the people who matter to you, and putting that screen down, having, those, good conversations, those meaningful conversations, those, making a difference in a friend's day, to let them know you're thinking about them, or reaching out to your mom, if you haven't talked to her in a while, things like that. I think it's important. And then I also think the whole taking care of ourselves. Yes, absolutely. Eating healthy. I try to do that. Exercising. I have an exercise routine that I've been bumping up a little bit here and there, but it's something that I've been working towards, for a while and trying to get better at. But yeah, exercise is critical, and exercise can take many forms. Just taking a walk around the block, or if you're at work, taking that longer pathway to a meeting, or taking the stairs instead of the elevator. So little things you can do to increase your physical health. I think that's really good. And then of course your mental health is critical. Happiness clearly is something that happens in our perception, in our brain, the way we see the world and ourselves. So mental health clearly is very important. So hopefully you're getting all the support you need. And if you need it, there are mental health resources out there. And and to be honest with you, I've looked at some of that stuff using AI tools to explore it, and there is really, there's a lot out there, at different levels and experiences and things like that. So, and then pursuing our passions, doing things we love that make us happy. I mean, that is, like why are we here? Hopefully we're enjoying and making a difference and doing things we find meaningful that give us purpose. I love it. And I love how it ends. Happiness is a journey, not a destination. It's something we work at every day, and I absolutely agree. So googlebard, well done. 2 thumbs up. 10 stars. You did a really good job. So I'm gonna ask a little bit more geeky question. Can technology and artificial intelligence play a role in enhancing or measuring human happiness? Right.
Yes, technology and artificial intelligence, AI, can play a role in enhancing or measuring human happiness. Here are some specific examples. Virtual reality, VR, can be used to create immersive experiences that can help people to relax, de-stress, and escape from reality. For example, VR can be used to simulate nature scenes, such as beaches or forests, which can have a calming effect on people. AI-powered chatbots can be used to provide emotional support to people who are feeling lonely or isolated. Chatbots can be trained to listen to people's problems and offer words of encouragement or advice. AI-powered wearable devices can be used to track people's physical and mental health, which can help them to identify factors that contribute to their happiness. For example, wearable devices can track heart rate, sleep patterns, and stress levels. AI-powered social media platforms can be used to connect people with others who share their interests. This can help people to feel more connected and supported, which can boost their happiness. AI-powered games can be used to promote positive emotions such as joy, excitement, and satisfaction. For example, games that involve cooperation and teamwork can help people to feel a sense of belonging and accomplishment. It is important to note that technology and AI are not a substitute for human connection and relationships. However, they can be used to enhance our happiness in a variety of ways. Here are some of the challenges that need to be addressed in order to ensure that technology and AI are used to enhance human happiness. Privacy concerns. People are rightly concerned about how their data is being used by technology companies. It is important to ensure that personal data is used in a responsible and ethical way. Addiction. Technology can be addictive, and it can interfere with our relationships and our ability to live in the present moment. It is important to use technology in moderation and to be aware of the potential for addiction. Bias. Technology can be biased, and this can lead to discrimination and inequality. It is important to develop technologies that are fair and equitable for everyone. Overall, technology and AI have the potential to enhance human happiness in many ways. However, it is important to be aware of the challenges and to use these technologies in a responsible way.
Wow, once again, an excellent response and so much more in depth. I love how the AI does great bullet points on topics, provides enough context in the description that really, I mean, Google Bard like is amazing. I'm sorry, it's the tool. Like, it's my number one go-to for AI tools when I want to have a conversation, and it does such a great job. It's that smart geeky friend that knows everything, but isn't like, annoying about it. So anyway, virtual reality, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of virtual reality, and and I feel like virtual reality, I've used it to learn how to do Tai Chi, although I wasn't very good at it. But with the goal of reducing stress, and in the attempt to learn it, got more stressed out. But yeah, I've done the things where when you're inside VR, hopefully, I mean, if you haven't tried VR, I mean, I highly recommend giving it a shot. In the past, probably about 7 years ago, the retail VR systems, from Oculus, now Meta, or HTC, Vive, those required big, expensive PCs, and then lighthouse systems you set up in your home, and and it was pretty complicated and stuff like that. There's been some smartphone based VR systems that have been very powerful, but there are today very inexpensive. Meta does a really good job of providing a very, very inexpensive headset that is no longer tethered to a computer. You can tether it if you want to handle some of those more high-end PC-based experiences, but the experiences you have in VR with just these standalone headsets are pretty amazing. And some of the newer models, the Quest Pro, that have the inside-out tracking, the cameras are amazing, and they do a really fantastic job of handling the experience. But anyway, I have found that the VR can be an incredible way to de-stress. I'm a big fan of Beat Saber inside VR. It's one of my favorite games, and when I'm in Beat Saber and I'm listening to my favorite music track, and I'm slicing through those boxes and stuff, it's amazing how your mind shifts. Like, you're outside whatever, you had a bad day, you had a stressful day at work, whatever. So you can easily, use VR to shift out of that. And there are amazing, sort of calming environments, or where you're standing on top of a mountain, or taking a hike, and some of these can, some of these experiences can be even like, VR 360 videos that you can watch and experience, places that you really enjoy. So yeah, VR, I think, is an amazing tool. I never really thought about it as a tool for helping with happiness, but it definitely does. It definitely can do that. I mean, you can have fun, playing games. Most of my gaming now is inside VR, so a lot of those experiences, and when you're inside VR with people, the avatars can feel very, very real. They have facial expressions and gestures and stuff like that can feel very connected. You hear their voice and stuff like that, and but the avatars have gotten significantly better, and they're I'm excited to see how AI merges more and enhances the overall VR experience. I think we're going to see incredible leaps due to AI inside of VR. But anyway, chatbots. So like, yeah, talking with Bard. Now I think privacy concerns that it highlights a little bit later is really important. So this is where the line between being anonymous and then interacting with the chatbot. So I'm logged into Bard here. It's got my ID. As I put stuff in, it logs that information. So it may not be wise with a lot of these AIs that keep your information to put a lot of data in there where you're self-identified. It could be, it is definitely a privacy concern to be aware of. But I think exploring, using the AI tools to explore resources and find support groups or look for apps and tools and things like that through the chatbots, I think is really good. And like I'm doing here, I'm just trying to look at like asking a question about happiness, and it's giving like so many great ideas. So AI powered wearable devices. So I love Android and Apple. They're like two children. I love them both equally. They're unique in their own ways. And I've been a big gadget person. You know, I remember getting like my first Android watch and being like, oh, this is so awesome. I did kind of switch over to the Apple side, and I got an Apple Watch, and the Ultra is absolutely fantastic. I really love it, and I love how it integrates with my, with my health monitoring. You know, so when I'm doing fitness activities, it tracks it. If you're familiar with the Apple Watch and the health tools from Apple, you got to close your rings. Your 3 rings that you got to close those on a daily basis. Your move ring, your exercise ring, your stand ring. But it's great to have that awareness of different aspects of your physical activity, in that it can impact your feeling of happiness. So yeah, wearable devices I think are a great way to identify and measure things that can impact your happiness. Social media platforms, this is one I have mixed feelings on. Social media, I was in college when Facebook came out, and it really enjoyed Facebook and connecting, and it was an easy way to connect with people in that it wasn't really easy to do aside from texting and things like that, but collaborating with larger groups and classmates and things like that, it became a platform to really network at school and connect and new ways and things like that. And we've seen how it has evolved. It's evolved in some really amazing, powerful, good ways, and in some really amazing, powerful, bad ways. And I've chosen to kind of really not focus as much on social media platforms, just due to a lot of from my view, a lot of the toxic behavior that goes on those platforms. And some of the platforms that I use that are work related, it's just amazing to me to see so much negativity spread. So social media platforms, in that I think that they can connect you with people, and they can connect to people with shared interests. There's sadly a place for a lot of toxic people to spread a lot of negativity, which can negatively impact your happiness. And I've seen that a lot with a lot of really, really bad behavior that people display, which just shocks me, to be honest. But anyway, social media, I think in limited quantities and very targeted uses can be very useful. Now, of course, there are people that they're on social media and they know how to do it in a way that just is wonderful, and that's awesome. I love it. I just think use it in a way that works for you. Use it to make sure it's enhancing your life and your happiness and stuff like that, and the things you're trying to do. Once it begins to negatively impact you, then you need to shift your usage and stuff like that. So anyway, AI powered games. Now that's interesting. So of course, games. I do love games. I do love those. I was a big fan of Knights of the Old Republic, and really loved being able to connect with people, to do individual experiences, but do team experiences, where you kind of get together in groups and tackle different tasks in the game, and that was super cool. So, and of course, even interacting with NPCs in the game, to do different things, achieve different tasks, explore. That was something I really loved. It's just the exploratory nature of a lot of these games. But anyway, yeah. So I think that those are really amazing examples of tools that can enhance and help measure your happiness and send you in the right directions. So the challenges, privacy concerns, we talked a little bit about that. You definitely don't want to put personal information in your AI chatbot experience, that you do not want to be potentially tracked or saved or copied, and that's an area of real concern. I'm glad that the tools highlight that, because these are still pretty new tools having come out. AI has been around for decades, but these new these modern era chatbot experiences are still very new, and I think issues around privacy and stuff like that, which we've struggled with in technology in the United States for so long, I'm amazed that we have not made more progress on that. But there's work going. That's one of the reasons why I love the Apple platform, is all the privacy tools that you can turn on there. Now the second issue was addiction, technology addiction, absolutely. And I don't know about you, but I definitely spend a lot of time in front of the screens, and it's important to make sure that when I'm using the technology, I'm using it for specific purposes. I'm not just going down a rabbit hole for hours and hours and hours, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, where'd my day go? So, and then, also that need to pick up the phone all the time, can be, and I know that, they talk about the technology being very designed, whether it was intentional or not, has become addictive for people. And so, setting those limits on utilization, I think it's great when parents do that. They set barriers on, boundaries on how to use it, when to use it, things like that. And I think as adults, we have to measure that too, because it's tied a lot into our work and to our personal lives, and then just into a lot of just how we do things in the world. So it can easily become something that you just weren't aware was so critical. So make sure you can put down that device and talk to a person, and talk to your family, and talk to your partner and your children, and have those experiences where you don't need a screen, So, and bias is absolutely, and that's one of the things I do love about these tools, is they talk about how, a lot of these tools are in development and how they may get it wrong. And some of the responses may not reflect, even here at the bottom of the app, it says Bard may display inaccurate or offensive information that doesn't represent Google's views. So just know that these training data sets that were used to train these AIs, these data sets represent human interaction, and human interaction is filled with lots and lots of bias. And that bias then can be reflected in the AI. I know that you can do a lot of work around alignment to reduce that kind of stuff, and hopefully that's happening. But it's just important to kind of think about it, about the possibility of bias in what we're doing. And I think any internet activity, you have to just kind of take into consideration, this may not be accurate. This may not be, bias-free, and that's one thing I love about Googlebard, is that it's got the little Google It button here. You've got this little Google It button that you can go and, go kind of fact check the response. So I think it's important to, to think about, happiness, and for me, it's something that's been a little bit on my mind lately. Like, what does it mean to be happy? What are ways I can be genuinely happy, feel genuinely happy? What are ways that I can exhibit happiness and share that sort of happiness experience? So that when I'm interacting with people, it's a happy experience. Not a fake one. That's one thing. Is I want to be genuine. But I definitely want it to be something where it's leading to a positive experience, an experience that people feel good about, that I feel good about, because there's too much negativity in the world. There's too many negative people in the world. It's important to just to do your best to shield yourself from that, to protect yourself, to protect your family and friends from a lot of that negativity, and there's different ways to do that. So anyway, Google Bard, I feel like, has done once again an excellent job of answering a very broad question about happiness. What is it? What is happiness? Very broad, and I thought it did an excellent job there. And then how can we enhance it using technology or AI? I thought it once again did an excellent response there, that gave me enough perspective that I feel like way more informed on happiness. That whole aspect of happiness is not something that happens to us. It is something that we create for ourselves. So we create it, we choose it. So we need to know how to do that. So the do good, feel good, the helping others, the spending time with your loved ones, your friends, your family that, that are important to you, taking care of yourself, pursuing your passion. Those are all very important things. And knowing that, happiness is a journey, not a destination. You don't, you track your progress on things, you get better every day, but happiness is the path. It's not a destination. And I think that is just two excellent points that googlebard has done an amazing job of surfacing. So I hope you learned a little bit of something like me. I hope your day can be happier. I hope that these questions have surfaced up some ideas for you. I also hope it surfaced up just some ways to use the chatbots that maybe you didn't think about. So that's something I like to do, is I like to just explore how we can use AI in just different everyday ways to explore and explore the world and explore ourselves and see how we can make a difference in our own lives and in the lives around us. So thank you for joining me today. Take care. Be happy.